For those that are just joining, we're waiting for a few more people to join, and then we'll kick this thing off. All right, I think that's just about everybody. We got a few stragglers coming along, so hopefully they'll join us soon.
You should bring Scott Herman up if he's free to come talk about WAGNY Games.
Oh, did put WAGNY up just a minute ago. Maybe they bounced and are trying to come back in. You know how it is, Mark. Elon likes to rug first thing in the morning.
Let's get Scooby-Doo up here.
Yeah.
By the way, GM, how are you this morning? I've had my coffee. I went on a 4-wheeler ride to go see some cows. My morning has started. How are you?
I'm doing great, my friend. Doing great.
Did you just say you went and saw some cows, Mark?
Yeah, I was on a space this morning and they were talking about like holy cows in another country and how like they are like so holy and you can't kill a cow and everything. And I'm like, yeah, I got a whole field full of cows in the next property over that will definitely be steaks on a plate.
Was that country India by any chance?
Yes. Yeah. It was one of the guys who was talking about in India how holy cows are. And I was like, the only kind of holy cows I know of are after they get shot, be put on your plate.
Yeah, they really like cows in India.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. They taste fucking great.
They do.
When you eat them, are you in a good mood?
No, I'm in a great mood.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I grew up on a cattle ranch, and so I named all my cows Hamburger, T-bone, Steak, Filet Mignon.
I think the conversation came up because they were talking about creating a shitcoin called the Holy Cow.
Holy cow, Batman. I would definitely buy that one.
I wouldn't buy I don't buy shitcoins. Same reason I don't buy scratch-off tickets. It's just a waste of fucking money.
Exactly. All right.
I had an idea for a shitcoin a while before we really get into serious. So I had an idea for a shitcoin. It was called Steak Coin. You got it when you bought the steak, and in order to get more steak, you had to stake your steak. So you would stake your steak coins, and your steak would earn you steak that you could use to get more steak, like actual steak that you eat, not steak coin.
Wow.
The Omaha Steaks.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd partner with them and I would stake just so that I could get steaks.
I would probably take part of that.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's like the perfect amount of staking, right? How much more steak can you get into a steak project?
I'd like team up with them and I'd do the salt coin for all the salty gamers. Because you want salt on your steak. All right. I've derailed this far enough. Go ahead. Start your space.
No, I was just going to say, guys, you're making me way too hungry this early in the morning for steak. I might have to go get steak and eggs after this.
It's funny. There is a sirloin that is thawed out in the fridge this morning. And before my wife left for work, she made it very clear to me, hey, if you have time, could you cook me a steak tonight for dinner? And it just triggered in my head that was the last sirloin we had. And she knew I would have cooked it for breakfast this morning with my eggs. But now that she said that, now when I went to go grab it this morning to go fry it up on the stove, I looked at it. I was like, fuck, it's the last one and I got to cook this for her tonight? I see where she was going with that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So now we need to go get some more steaks.
That's awesome. Well, cool. Yeah, before I get way too hungry and start roaming the house looking for steak, probably should get this started. Thanks everybody for joining. This is going to be a different kind of AMA that you guys are probably used to. This is kind of a newer format that we're going to be trying. It's, as by the name of the title of the show, it's the 10-minute pitch show. The whole premise around this is that we're trying to basically give listeners a kind of like a rapid fire, speed dating type of approach to being able to learn more about a variety of different projects in an unbiased way so that they can basically walk away at the end of the show feeling a little bit more knowledgeable and with the projects that pitched, as well as being able to form their own decisions on this without having to listen to a single person, usually a single influencer, that has a very biased point of view. That's why we're trying out this AMA style. We've had a lot of good feedback. This week's edition is games. So we're excited to have some pretty awesome games up. I've had the opportunity to speak with some of these on different AMAs. We do try to vet majority of these, but just be aware that do your own research. Can't guarantee if these guys will scam you, rug you, or if they will fail at the end of the day, but no comments from me because I am not here to promote or to endorse any of these projects per se. That's up to you to make your decision at the end of the day. If you happen to have questions for our projects that are pitching, feel free to throw them in the comments and we'll do a rapid Q&A at the end of the episode here. Basically how it's going to work, guys, is you're going to get 10 minutes uninterrupted. We want you to basically just pitch us your game or project that you're on and focus. We really want to focus on the tech, what problems you're solving, and what kind of unique opportunities are you looking to solve or impact you're trying to make in Web3. We're not really trying to focus on discussing token prices, price speculation, how your token's going to change the world type of things. We definitely want to make it more of an educational thing, pull back the curtain a little bit and let listeners view what's behind the curtain. With that being said, let's kind of jump in. Do I have a volunteer that wants to go first? If not, I'm going to pick the first one I see that's up on the list. Anybody want to go? If not, I'll have Mark go.
I was just going to say, I volunteer Bad Biker to go first.
Oh, go on then. Okay, yeah, I'll get started then if that's all right. Before I do,
Yep.
NXT Moon, has anyone ever told you that you sound a little like Terence McKenna, or at least on your Spaces voice?
Oh, no.
Do you know
No
who
one's
he is?
ever told me that. No, I don't. I'm going to Google really quick while you're doing the pitch.
Yeah, we'll Google it after the pitch, man. He's a really interesting guy, and he was funded to research LSD back in the days, and he just chats all kinds of deep philosophical nonsense, and I think he's dead a long time ago, but he has a really unique, cool voice that I haven't heard since listening to one of his speeches, and yeah, it's refreshing to hear it all over
What was the
again.
name again?
Terence McKenna. Does anyone else know Terence McKenna? No? Anyway, I don't stall anymore. So yeah, thanks for having me. My name is Bert Biker. I'm the founder of Bad Bikers. Bad Bikers is a 10,000 piece NFT collection on Solana. And we have a mobile game called Bad Bikers Death Race. Bad Bikers Death Race is essentially Mario Kart meets Grand Theft Auto. Instead of go-karts and rainbows and banana skins and whoopies, it's motorcycles, machine guns, machetes, bombs, bazookas, bloodshed, and PvP betting. As I said, it's on mobile. It's a Web2 game. It's not a Web3 game. The Web3 relationship is the relationship between the game and the NFTs, and this is a new initiative that we're pioneering. It's a new ecosystem model that we call Grow to Earn. Grow to Earn solves a few little problems. Let me just explain what it is and how it works, and then I'll get back to the problems it's solving. Essentially what we do with the game, it has a conventional business model of a free teaser version, and then the rest, the full version of the game will be $15 a year. It'll be available on iOS Store, Play Stores, and whatever other stores there are for mobile games. And the net revenues, 81% of them will go to our NFT holders. Now, this does two really cool things. Firstly, on the NFT holder side of things, you have a utility that is green dollars, right? Not Discord access, not merch, not shitcoin airdrops, but actual green dollars, what a lot of people came to the space for. And on the flip side of that coin, you go to market with an indie game backed by 10,000 financially incentivized vocal supporters who live and breathe on the internet. Right? And this is something that indie games typically spend, or indie games makers and AAA games makers spend millions of dollars and hours of effort trying to achieve these vocal supporters. This is the starting point with Bad Bikers Death Race, because we treat our NFT holders with the respect that NFT purchasers should be treated when you're building a product for them, and we treat them as the stakeholders of that game. So yeah, that's the NFT collection Bad Bikers. After the game is fully released, we'll also have a secondary NFT collection. Before I move on to that, one of the problems that this Grow to Earn model solves is the NFT paradox. And the NFT paradox, I put it this way: if you're an ape holder or whatever you are, and you're super pumped because apes are now 100 ETH, there comes the paradox where you have to either say goodbye to your ape that you love and the community is so amazing, blah, 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 or you have to say goodbye to your 100 ETH, right? You can't have your cake and eat it. So what Grow to Earn does is it activates this community to drive value to the world, which drives value back to the token holder itself. You're pushing a fair priced game. $15 a year is actually 25% of what Mario Kart charges for the full version of their mobile game, Mario Kart Tour. And it's actually should be a much more fun, better experience for the target market. All of Mario Kart's paid users, or 90% of them, are dudes in their 20s, despite it looking like a game for 6-year-olds. This has got real weapons and a bunch of badass guys behind the bikes with trigger-happy fingers. So you can create money for yourself without having to sell the NFT through Grow to Earn by pushing the underlying value driver. The second collection, as I hinted at before, this is a working title, but we'd call them the brokers of bad. The first collection, position them, if you will, as the stakeholders. The second collection would be the sales agents. Now, unlike other follow-up collections that we've seen in the NFT space that more often than not saturate the utility of the first NFT collection, here we're actually driving more value to the original NFT collection. Because the original NFT collection, as stakeholders, their one NFT is worth that one share, 1/10,000th share of 81% of net revenues. With the secondary collection, Brokers of Bad, we individualize that growth mechanism, and we give an individual referral code to the NFT holder. So you can go and take your NFT's individual referral code, you bring a bunch of users to the game, they get a 10% discount, you make 20% of every paid user you bring to the game. And that's not just their first year sign-on fees, that's the second year, and any microtransactions along the way. And what else is really cool about this NFT mechanism is we will display the number of users attached to that NFT as like a dynamic trait. So let's say you pick up a broker of bad and you've got a big community and you put it out there, suddenly you've got 1,000 paid users, you get 20% of those net revenues. So you make $2,000, right? And then you put your NFT back on the secondary because you don't want to hold it and you want to sell it again. Not only have you got your $2,000 out, right? You've also now got an NFT that relative to the rest of the collection is more valuable, and you yourself have changed the value of that by attaching paid users to it. So in both circumstances, the holder can drive the value of the NFT by driving value to the world, which in this case is a really kick-ass mobile game called Bad Bikers Death Race. I think that just about, let me say this before I go. Crypto came for a bunch of buzzwords. Decentralization is one of them. Building in public is one of them. And we haven't always seen it. Grow to Earn sits in the sweet spot, to put it very boringly, of crowdfunding meets affiliate marketing. But what it really does is it harnesses the potential of NFT communities, because we've never seen anything like online communities of NFT communities 3 years ago, and activates them for a greater good and a purpose. And the game itself, rather than being funded by VCs who all have basically the big picture of just hyperinflating a token that's probably going to get released before the game, that's probably going to cost retail a lot of money. Instead, we're offering our target market NFTs, we're treating them like stakeholders, we're building the game with their input, we're activating them to organically market the game themselves, which they'll do naturally, as you see with the meme coins. People in the community get vexed about driving the value of it, and they'll naturally organically do it across every social app, across every streaming platform, and across every language, and to every corner of the world wherever we have a holder. So in this beautiful, virtuous world, it's a game that's built, funded by the people, built with their input, marketed by the people, and the people are rewarded respectfully, properly, with 81% of net revenues. That's pretty much it. I should say, one last thing, given no one jumped on the mic straight away. Going back to the game itself, which maybe was more the focus of the conversation. One thing that's really cool that I forgot to mention, tech-wise, is mobile game experiences are normally good compared to PC and console. That's why a lot of people focus on that. But there are 5 billion smartphones in the world or something like that. and they all have a gyroscope. So what we do, which is really cool, is we allow the steering to be done by gyroscope, and that frees up the thumbs to do shooting, aiming and shooting. Because in Mario Kart, and Mario Kart is the leading racing and shooting game, right? It's not really a shooting game in that you're never really aiming and shooting. Like you press B, it hits the target, the aim's done for you, or it's a lightning bolt that's 360 degrees. Here, it's a more simultaneous racing and shooting experience than any game out there, at least on mobile, as far as I know. I've been meaning to try Mark's Ascent Rivals, but yeah, as far as I know, it's the most, at least on mobile, most simultaneous racing and shooting experience there is. And the NFT game relationship, NFT holder founder relationship, is a more symbiotic relationship than any other NFT founder relationship I've at least come across, because it's a case of my holders win, I win, my holders win, we win together. It's not a matter of me isolating these fans of mine and then selling them more products. It's activating these fans of mine and using them to bring a sick game to the world. Indie style, guerrilla style, super fun, super cool, super adrenaline fueled fun, bad biker death race madness. There you go. I'll stop it there.
All right. Yeah, you definitely did good on the time. That was Bad Bikers, everybody. So if you have any questions for Bad Bikers, throw them out in the comments of this episode, and we're going to have a quick Q&A afterwards. One last task for you, Bad Bikers. Since you went, you get to throw the hot potato to someone else to kick off their 10 minutes.
I'll chuck it to my man, Mark.
Oof, you caught me red-handed. I was actually trying to share out the space to a whole bunch of people, which I'll remind everybody, make sure you hit that purple pill down bottom, share, comment, bookmark, do whatever you can to help spread the word, get some more people to hear these awesome projects. Yeah, I'll throw it back to you, let you pick which one of the projects you want to hear about. Ascent Rivals, Dark Times.
I would love to hear, as a fellow racing shooting game, I'd love to hear more about Ascent Rivals. Because we haven't.
All right, I'll give you the show. I'll give you the show on Ascent Rivals. Ascent Rivals, probably one of the most exciting games that I've played in quite some time so far. Totally hooked on it. I'm actually wearing my custom hoodie right now from Ascent Rivals with my gamer tag on the back of it. The team is awesome. Love the team. They're super chill, relaxed, like vibing with them. But the game itself it has this hook to it that has just drawn me in. First and foremost, the game is super, super clean and fun to play. Playable right now. Like, we do play tests twice a week on Tuesday nights and Friday nights, where the developers race with the community and any new players that want to come in. The match, let me tell you a little bit more about what the game actually is. If you were to imagine Star Wars Episode 1, pod racing, and that's the racing aspect of it. But in this race, as you're going around the track, you also have the opportunity to let go of the controls of your pod racer or ship and stand up with a rifle and shoot other racers, which takes it to a whole nother level. The cool aspect about this game and what really got me hooked is the way that you actually drive the ships. It uses dual stick controls on controller. So if you imagine your joystick on your controller, each joystick is driving an individual engine on the racer. So if you push your right joystick forward, you're going to accelerate on the right side and not the left, and you're going to go in a circle. And if you push them both forward, you'll go forward. If you push them both back, they'll go back. So that's the main driving force on steering it. And then you can use your R2 and your L2, which will drop these fins on your left and right, which will make you bank to lean so you could go around a corner faster. Then on top of that, your R1 and your L1 are side boosters, which will make you strafe left. So if you're coming up on a corner and you kill your left engine, bank with your right fin, and then side boost with your L1, it'll keep you real tight and close into a corner and make you go around a corner and do a U-turn really fast. It's a lot of things to do all at once, and the skill ceiling's really high. So it takes a lot of practice to be able to hit these corners perfectly. And there's different builds. Like you could build a heavy ship, you could build a light ship. The light ship accelerates faster, but doesn't have the top speed. The heavy ship has a bigger engine, so it goes faster, but its acceleration is down. There's a lot of different ways that you can play the game, and the skill ceiling is really high. And I say that because some of the top racers, I would say, let's say the top 10 racers in the game right now, their times are separated by tenths of a second. That gives you an idea of how close these races are. And the thing that really gets me pumped about it is you could be in first place. You could be the fastest racer. And if one person shoots you on the last lap, you'll go from first place to sixth place because the respawn time, if you get shot, is pretty long. You can also crash into walls. The other thing about that, when you pick up your rifle, you can't steer the ship because your hands are on your rifle. So whichever direction, you're going to keep going in that direction until you get back in the seat and get your hands on the controls. There's also boost where you can kill your engine, pull back on both joysticks, and then throw them both forward and you'll boost faster. There's also bounties that you can put on other racers. So if I'm racing and Scott shoots me and gets a good shot on me, I can place a bounty on his head. And now as Scott's racing around the track, he's got a yellow beam shooting up in the sky above him and everybody can see where he's at. And if somebody shoots him, they collect the money that is on his head. So there's some cool aspects about it. There's a lot of other things that I can't really speak on yet because hasn't been released, but there's the way the team is really focusing on building this game is developing around viewership, a viewership model that is catered to encouraging people to do like the live broadcast of these races and get the viewers engaged, where if you're streaming on Twitch, right, you're streaming a tournament, your viewers can actually place bounties on the heads of the racers. Stuff like that. They have a current race going on where they partnered with Shelby. It's a Shelby tournament where for the next 4 months, where every week we're doing qualifiers, where the top person from each week is getting into the qualifying race at the end of 4 months. So there'll be 16 people total. And that race is going to have a pretty decent prize pool. So I highly recommend, if anybody wants to check it out, feel free to DM me. I'll get you in the Discord. It's free to download on Steam. They haven't implemented the Web3 side of it yet because they're trying to master and finish the product first. And then they'll add the Web3 elements, which will be like the NFT parts of the ship. I would say get in there, get practicing, try and figure it out. Ask the community. There's so many people that have posted tutorial videos on how to race. Everything you'd want to know, people can get it to you. Feel free to check it out. It's fun. I'm going to send it over to Scott, though, because WAGNY Games is fun shit. I'm a tower defense guy, and he's got big news to launch.
Before Scott goes in, thanks for the pitch. If you have any questions on, what was it called? I can't even read my writing this morning. Something Rivals, Ancient Rivals or something like that, right? What was the name of it again?
Ascent Rivals. Ascent.
Ascent.
ASCENT. If you look at my PFP, that square icon to the right of my name, that's the affiliate badge for Ascent Rivals. That'll take you right to their Twitter.
Perfect. So if you guys have any questions about the Ascent Rivals game, feel free to drop them in the thread of this episode, and we'll bring those questions up again later at the end of the show as a rapid fire Q&A. So Scott, it's all yours.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Good morning. Thanks for having me. I have played Ascension Rivals. It's a lot of fun. I especially liked using the double joysticks to turn, but it's definitely a bit of a learning curve. There's a lot of buttons to press to make that ship go left and right and turn sharp and shoot and things like that. But I had a lot of fun playing. We even spoke about doing a fun collab with one of our characters for a Rare Evo with Ascension Rivals with our character Melkros, and then having one of the ships skinned with her colors, which would have been pretty cool. Maybe we'll do it for the next one, Mark. That'd be fun.
Let's get it. Let's make it happen. I like that idea because the rifle is perfect.
Yeah, man. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Scott Herman. I'm one of the co-founders at WAGNY Games. Our first game, WAGNY Defense, is a real-time strategy tower defense game. Similar gameplay to Clash Royale for those of you who play a lot of mobile games, but with a very unique twist, right? What we're highly focusing on at WAGNY Games is not just delivering a fun play experience, but a full transmedia franchise where, you can get heavily invested in the characters, whether it's through our anime, which if you haven't seen our trailer, it's on our YouTube channel, WAGNY Games. We have 2 comic books out. Our second comic book, Melcros Origins, we actually debuted at the Rare Evo event. I know Mark got a couple copies of it, read through it. We actually worked with some creators from Marvel on that comic, so the art is absolutely amazing. We have collectibles such as U2s. We're developing a toy line, and we're actually pitching our anime series to big networks this month. So like Netflix, Prime, HBO Max, things like that. And the reason why we focus so much on the IP along with the gameplay is for the very reason why all of you here know names like Star Wars and Marvel, right? You know these names because the characters are so fun and you can relate to them, and the characters can last the test of time and bring the franchise into new lights. And when you play WAGMI Defense, you're not just building the best team for the current meta, you're building teams around your favorite characters. And as the story unfolds, whether through the anime or the comics, the story can also continue to unfold in the game as you play through campaign mode, as you participate in various live op events, as new characters come out, new skins, new weapons, etc. And it all goes hand in hand. But we're focused more on mass adoption for all gamers, not just Web3. On the Web3 side of things, it's very easy to make a wallet. You just download the game from the App Store. By the way, we're in our closed beta right now. Our global launch is coming up on December 12th. So you guys will probably start seeing a lot more videos popping up. We shut down the beta for about a month and a half. We just reopened it. Some of our ambassadors are already creating some content, so you will start seeing what the new user interface looks like. We gave the entire game, all the graphics, a complete revamp. But again, getting back to the Web3 side of things, we don't want this to be difficult. If we want mass adoption, not just in Web 2, but also Web3, it needs to be easy to download and start playing the game. And so when you play WAGMI Defense, once you download the game and log in with your email, a custodial wallet's already created for you through Immutable's Passport wallet. And then if you want to participate and utilize the secondary market to buy, sell, and trade your NFTs, again, you're just logging in a marketplace with your email. It's super easy. Something that we've been talking about for the last 3 years is that you need to take the Web3 technology and just tuck it under the hood. Nobody cares how the ice gets made when they go to their refrigerator to get a glass of ice. They just care the ice comes out of their refrigerator. It needs to be the same exact way with a Web3 game. The technology sounds cool to us. Learning about NFTs sounds cool to us. Learning about the blockchain sounds cool to us. Nobody else gives a fuck, okay? That's just the way it is. They just want to participate, play a fun game, and if there's a potential that they can earn, whether it's through NFTs or token, and they learn about it along the way, that's how you're going to hook these people. We do have a token, WAGNY Games token. It's a 100% utility token in our game. I think we're the only gaming token with over 90% of our token on the market. We're a fully bootstrapped company, which means we have zero VC funding. We've done the entire raise ourselves. We've raised over like $7.5 million. So we don't have any vested tokens. We don't have any VCs, just waiting for that right time to dump on our community, which makes the token being a utility token work so much better. So you'll be able to use the token to make in-game purchases. And then Q1 or Q2 of next year, we're going to be introducing skill-based wagering. So like when Mark comes in talking all that good, and I'm like, all right, bro, $10 in WAGMY Games tokens, put it on the line and let's battle. It'll be a winner-takes-all scenario, which I think is very cool. Another interesting thing about WAGMY Games, for those of you who don't know me, my background is content creation. I was one of, if not the first, fitness content creator to make content on a full-time basis on YouTube. I grew my channel to over 3 million subscribers. I actually coined the term fitness influencer. I was the first person to even get a supplement sponsorship just for making videos on YouTube. It's probably crazy to think about, but that's where we're at. I'm older than you guys. I'm 40. Just turned 40 a couple weeks ago.
Bro, 41. You're not older than me.
Oh, you old bastard.
You look a lot better, though, than I do for that age, though. Just saying. I saw the Scooby-Doo outfit. You're looking fit. the man does do his fitness.
I don't shy away from saying some pretty raunchy things and having a really non-political, what's the word I'm looking for? My personality is not politically correct. I didn't know exactly which costumes my wife bought for Halloween. She's like, you want to go as Scooby-Doo and Daphne? I was like, sure. I put that on, dude. Even I had the blush. All my neighbors were making fun of me, telling me they could see my Scooby snacks. Now they call me Scooby. But you know what? Rightfully so. Played. But now I even forgot what I was talking about. But yeah, so guys, with gameplay, we focus on fun to play, right? We're not play to earn. We're not pay for power. You can grind and play WAGNY Defense and be just as competitive as everybody else who's spending money in game, which is how a mobile game should function, right? And unfortunately, a lot of games, especially in Web 2, and that's why we're seeing like a really heavy decline in the player bases for some of those really popular games like Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, Blast Royale. All of these games have become so much pay for power that players are just getting sick of it and they're looking for something fresh and new. With the market turning around the way it is, with original IP being very fresh with WAGNY Games, in a play style that was easy to play, hard to master, I think we're going to do really well, Mark. I think we're going to do really well now that we're even closer to our global launch, and we're all very excited.
Can you spill any of the alpha as to like when people will be able to download the new version?
We're rolling out the closed beta throughout the week this week. Everyone who was on the previous version of the beta should be able to get on by Friday. And we're keeping the closed beta contained just because we're adding a lot of features and we're testing a lot of things out. But December 12th, that is the date. So we're like 4 weeks away from when you guys will be able to download and start playing on your Android or iPhone device. So I would recommend going to the WAGNY Games website. There's a submission at the top of the site so that you'll get notified as soon as you can download and start playing the game. And that's what I would do for now, is go there, put your email in, and be one of the first to start playing and earning your cards, your NFTs.
Quick question. Will it be an update from the old version or will it be a whole different download?
That's a good question. It should be an update because we're keeping the same slot in the Google Play Store. So it should be just an update that happens. But it's a completely new version of the game. So if you have the old beta, I would just delete it. That way, when you install the new one, there's no remnants of the old one on your phone.
Gotcha.
I'm using BlueStacks, so I did the same thing. I deleted everything that had to do with the old version of the game because it's a whole new user interface. All the graphics have been updated, all the characters have been updated, and I don't want any of the old stuff. I don't know. You know how apps can be,
Yep. You want to get rid of all the cash and all the old shit. Is Richie Slayer and like Andy and all those guys, are they all figuring out the balancing issues before the official launch?
We have a team at Roommate that's doing the balancing. Nice. But what's going to happen is, we're going to be relying on our creators and our players as they're battling and streaming to report back to us what they're noticing, what they're seeing, what's breaking, what's not breaking, things like that, to make sure that we're really buttoned up tight and ready for December 12th.
Super smart idea.
Did you?
It's wicked smart.
Did you say Roommate, Scott? Was Roommate building a game?
Yeah, Roommate
Nice.
Studios.
Since Mark jumped in there and stole some of your minutes, your time's up, but I wanted to give you one last hurrah if you want to say anything else before we move on to the next project.
No, that was great, guys. It's pretty simple and straightforward. We're a mobile game with Web3 tech. All the cards are NFTs. Tokens are 100% utility token. The game is fun as fuck, which is why we have so many players and so much excitement around gameplay. If you want to play, I'll see you in the battlefield. Just don't cry when I whoop your ass.
Sorry, NXT Moon. I know Scott for a while and Crypto Bros.
Oh, no, I get it. I've spoken to Scott quite a few different times, so.
Captain America, you don't like my language?
No, it's all good. All right, so let's move on to the next project. Escape, you're up.
Hey, thanks for having me. Obviously, my name's not Earnscape. I'm Steve, and I guess I'm probably the third oldest person on the call. Today is actually my birthday. I turned 38 today. Yay. Just love
Happy birthday!
Closer to 40, right?
I get a Scooby-Doo outfit I'll send you for your birthday.
All right. And that, yeah, 40 is like boomer in Web3 at this point. Like everybody seems like everybody's in their 20s. I know when I got into Web3, I was in my 20s, but it wasn't Web3 then. At that point, it was just Bitcoin. But anyway, so what is Earnscape? Earnscape basically delivers gamers to games. We talk a lot about how we all want to play to earn. Well, we don't talk about it as much anymore, but everybody talks about how they want to play to earn, and that model is really broken, and it clearly doesn't work. We've seen a lot of people in the previous cycles try to do these infinitely minting tokens where they just hand them out as rewards, and we see what happens. They all just dump to zero. Just go look at any charts for any play-to-earn game that's come out in the past couple of years, and it's all the same story. If you go to a couple of the aggregator sites, you can see it all just goes straight down. What we do is we put all the Web3 under the hood so you don't really see it. And so I appreciate what everybody else on this call is talking about because we're all moving in the same direction where Web3 needs to just be a tech. And we don't have a token yet, but it's coming. But basically, we have a mobile app and we're focused on mobile because I think as a lot of people here understand, mobile is the future. It makes a lot of things easier. It makes it easier to access much more broad global markets. There's 3.4 billion mobile gamers out there. Mobile is 53% of the market, at least it was last time I checked. And that's really what drove the internet to be mass popular. If you look at the internet adoption curve, nobody really used it until everybody suddenly had it on their smartphones, right? Until then, it was just browsers and websites, static websites, no social media, until Facebook tried to start changing that and was successful, and then everything changed with the mobile. But yeah, before that, it was just like, oh, you're a nerd. You know, who wants to learn about all this? Yeah, it's really difficult to access. You gotta have your dial-up. You know, how are you accessing? And it shuts off your phone when you get on the internet. It wasn't until everything with always-on internet connections moved to mobile that people actually started using the internet, and that's what blockchain needs to do. So I'm glad that a lot of people on this call and a lot of the projects that we're talking to now are going in that same direction. But enough about general background. So yeah, Earnscape aggregates gamers and we send them to games. So one of the big problems that we see in a lot of mobile games is that they just don't get the attention. The people here, they're all doing better than a lot of other games out there. There's 6,000 mobile games that come out just on Android every month. There's another like 4,000 that come out on iOS every month. So for those who are math impaired, that's like around 200 games just on Android a day. That's a ton of games to compete against. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to really lose out to all the other games who are just pouring money into marketing to acquire the users. We basically build profiles on gamers and connect them to the games that they are best suited to play. If we find that you're a racing game player, you really like those kinds of games, we'll start shoving racing games that we've partnered with in your face. If we find that you're a shooter, then we'll shove you shooter games. If you like racing and shooter games, then we'll send you to the racing and shooting game combinations, which apparently now we're starting to see. And as a note, not every device has a gyroscope. A lot of them do, but there are still some devices out there that do not have them, which shocked me when we started gathering this data. Because one of the ways that we build these profiles on the users is by tapping into things like a gyroscope and seeing what you're actually doing as you're playing the games. Most
Yeah,
games,
I don't think the Nokia has a gyroscope.
yeah, there's a lot of devices that don't have the gyroscopes, and a lot of the lower end devices, and especially this is a big problem with Web3 games because Web3 games particularly tend to appeal to the socio-demographic that is less likely to have a higher end device. Because as soon as someone hears Web3, they're like, oh, play to earn. I'm going to jump on that. Even though, they're not the same. You know, Web3 does not mean play to earn. Web3 just means it uses blockchain technology in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, a lot of people who hear Web3 game, they're like, oh, I'm going to play that. I'm going to earn. Oh, I don't have a gyroscope. So I can't play some of these games. And yeah, there's a whole lot of other issues with that, like farming, people trying to cheat. As soon as you add any sort of incentives in there, you get massive amounts of fraud and people trying to manipulate the system to extract assets because they're not really players. They're farmers. And we don't want those people, right? You don't want people playing your game if they're only playing it because they're trying to extract resources from your ecosystem. You want them to actually enjoy playing the games because the people that actually enjoy playing the games are the ones who are going to contribute positively. That's one of the reasons that we're doing this the way that we're doing it, because we want to identify gamers that are going to enjoy the games that they're playing and send them to those games. And we do actually provide, so now I'm going to kind of seemingly contradict myself by saying we do offer some rewards to people for playing, but they're so minute that no one could ever really hope to earn a living. No one's really going to make a shitload of money playing games through our platform. But it's just a reward to people for the data that we're gathering. I have always been against this whole big tech meta where they hoover up all of your data and then give you nothing but ads in return. So I figured that it would be better to actually reward people for the data that we're gathering. So we're pretty upfront about that. You get a little bit of like fractions of a cent as you play, and we gather each data point that gives us more information on what sort of games you're most likely to play. And then when we send you to the other games, if the data is better, then you get more rewards. And so that just works out in our favor. And as a result, we do have to implement a whole bunch of anti-fraud mechanisms. I do remember we found one guy who was he's got 60, I think he's up to 67 now attempts to create multiple accounts and defraud the system. But that is easily detectable if you know what you're doing. We have all the systems in place to identify these people, and I don't want to go into details because I don't want people trying to circumvent those. But we do have ways of knowing who you are just by the way that you interact with our app. And we can tell. It's pretty cool. And there's a lot of other tools that we can use to root out fraudsters too. People use, and one thing that a lot of games do now, and everybody knows this with the freemium model, is you have to wait. You'll take an action, and you run out of energy, and you got to wait like 10 minutes until you get up enough energy to do another action. And a lot of people try to manipulate their phones to try and get past that. So they have these apps on their phone that allow them to advance the clock, and that tricks the game into letting them claim whatever action or energy or whatever that they think they're going to get, and then they wind the clock back afterwards so they can just keep going back and forth. And we have the systems in place to be able to remove all of those people from the ecosystem. So we're really trying to remove all the fraud. We're really trying to remove all the scammers. We're really trying to remove all the farmers. We're trying to get rid of all of the toxic elements of Web3 gaming. And one of the ways that you can do this is through mobile. Mobile has a lot more resources in place to allow you to identify and remove these people. So we have quite a few games already that we've partnered with, and we're sending them several hundred users every day. We're not huge, but we do have, several thousand of daily active users and such at this point. Now we appreciate getting set up to get everybody who's trying to grow at least a stable user base to get started with, because especially if you're a multiplayer game, it sucks when your game is empty. If you're a match-based game, you'll take forever to find a match. If you're like an MMO style game where you're racing against other people in real time, if there's no one to race with, you're going to be either sitting there a while waiting for a match again, or you're going to be racing against just one other person instead of 50 or maybe some AIs. But that's never as fun. So we're making sure that all these projects out there that are launching games are doing a really good job of at least having a constant user base in there, playing, earning something to make sure that they're not trying to just drain all the ecosystem resources out of the game. And also, this is forthcoming, but we're making it so that users who have our app and are accessing the games that we partnered with are going to be able to spend their crypto directly into the games. And so that'll be an added benefit to those too. We're also doing a live streaming thing. Everyone who's done mobile knows mobile live streaming sucks. And I think that the solution that we have, which is basically ready, it's looking really good on our testing. I was testing it again this morning with our developers, and it's working quite well. It's pretty solid, and I think that it's going to really drive a lot of exposure for a lot of these games. It's going to onboard some gaming streamers that have always lamented lack of mobile. I got a couple people, they're like university professors that are teaching like gaming classes, and they're always telling me the same sort of stuff, that this really sucks, that their gamers in their classes and their clubs and stuff always want to stream mobile, and they can't. It's just basically broken. And they're really looking forward to really onboarding this en masse on university campuses, and a couple other major platforms are really interested in partnering as well. So yeah, we're looking really good for the future of mobile gaming, especially in Web3. I think I'm around my time. Let me know. I think I started around 9:40. It's about 9:50 now. At least my time.
I need that red carpet song so that I can start playing people off towards the end of their time. I'll look that up for the next one. But yeah, thanks everybody for participating. I took a snapshot of everybody on here, since it's our very first trial run. I know that the X co-host platform doesn't really allow shilling, so I was grateful when Kaylin, basically the founder of X-Co-Host, finally caved in after months and months of me trying to get permission to run an all-shill AMA program on his platforms. Appreciate all you guys jumping in and participating. You know what? Bad Bikers, it looks like there's a message for you from Terrence McKenna. It's more of a joke. If you want to just jump in there and take a look at it, it's funny. But anyways, thanks everybody for participating. I don't see any other questions in the comments, but unless Crypto Psycho, do you have a question you want to ask one of our games?
I've got a couple questions. I didn't put them in the comments though.
Oh,
but
go for it.
I've been writing down a couple. But sorry, Crypto Psycho, have you got something?
Yeah, he's my old Aussie friend.
Okay.
He's an old mate.
So
if he wants to come up, he can.
Sure. For Mark, what was it? Yeah, 2 questions. The respawn time you mentioned, roughly how long is that?
Respawn time for crashes or when you get shot?
It's different?
Yes. If you crash into the wall, it's about, let me think for a second here. I don't know the exact technical time specifically, but
roughly
I'd say about 2 seconds. And if you get shot, it's about 6 seconds.
Interesting.
Wait, let me think for a second. You shot. I'd say 4.5, maybe 5 seconds if you get shot. But it's significantly enough when you think about how fast you're going, because now you have to get up to speed. You literally, in most of the races that I'm in, if you get shot and you're in first place, you typically get knocked down to 6th position. And I've been shot literally feet from the finish line, and I go from first place, seconds from winning, to 6th position.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's almost like you want to be in 3rd place until the last 100 meters of the race. It was a similar thing with our MVP. These are the little intricate dynamic details that there's no one right answer for, right? Yeah, and you're just trying to drive people mental in an entertaining way that they want to play again straight afterwards.
Yeah, right? Where you don't want to be in first place because then you get hit with all the blue shells.
Exactly. Yeah. See, me, I like placing second or third. And then, so there's a lot to this game, right? You can team up with people. I have one of my Knights of the Round Table, Crimson Caravan. What he likes to do is he doesn't even race. He just sits there on the track with the railgun and shoots people as they're coming around the corners. I'll be on the mics with him and I'll be like, hey, it's me coming around the corner. Don't shoot. And he'll let me through without getting shot. But then when the other guys come through, he shoots them. Now, on the final lap, if somebody's in first place and I'm like, all right, he should be coming around the corner now, I'll take him out. He'll shoot that guy and then I fly by him. There's a lot of gameplay to this. It's very fun.
Yeah, that's
one
that's
other
a cool
little thing. I just want to throw this out here of like how badass these devs are. What was it? Not last week. It was the Halloween week. On that Friday after Halloween, they actually went in the game and changed the maps to be Halloween themed. They changed the sky to a dark gray sky. They put lightning strikes in the map. They put little red eyes all over the place. They made a Halloween themed map for one playtest, one night, just to have a fun theme for the community. I think that's fucking awesome.
That sounds like Fortnite. My kids always go nuts whenever they do stuff like that in there.
Yeah. One of the things that Michael Yagi takes a lot of pride in is him and his brother and the other developers. They race with the community. And Scott's notorious for this too. When you have a team member who can whoop up on the players in the community, that makes sense because the team members should be fucking cracked at their game that they're creating. They should know how to beat people in the game they're creating. If you have team members who are not cracked at the game, there's a problem.
Yeah, they need to get high on their own supply or don't buy that supply if the supplier isn't getting high on their own supply.
And Scott's he's a fucking menace in WAGNY. I couldn't tell you how many times he's snuffed me with the sneaky emperor. But that's an example of it, right? Like you gotta be, if you're a team person and you're playing with your community, whoop their ass. Make them want to compete to be better.
Amen. You also mentioned something about incentivizing UGC and the streaming elements.
Yeah, a lot of that hasn't really been fleshed out and released yet, but basically they're going to be rewarding like the viewing parties, people that do viewing parties and have like communities come and watch the races. There's going to be incentive for doing that. And there's going to be engagement where the viewers watching the races can take part in the races, place bets, place bounties, that kind of thing.
Cool, that sounds wicked. I've got a couple questions for WAGNY and Scott as well. You said something along the lines of about, I really like what you're doing with the simultaneous game and anime series IP. Like, I don't have the funds to do it right now, but it's something I'm definitely thinking of in the future of Bad Bikers. Obviously, like adult cartoons and biker culture between Biker Mice from Mars and Sons of Anarchy, just like remodeling those story models. There's so much to work with, right? But you said something at some point that sounded a bit like some of the campaign levels would be released simultaneously with episodes. Is that something like you're going to continually update the game with new levels based on the episodes that came out? Is that what you said? Or were you working on something along that lines? Earth to Scott.
You might be doing push-ups right now.
It's probably a good thing to do on Spaces, to be honest, mate. If we all did a few push-ups for all the Spaces we did, we'd all look good.
Could also be like mixing up his protein shake.
Fair enough.
There's a reason he looks like a chiseled god.
Yeah, Earnscape also really liked everything you were saying, man, keeping the space honest. I was doing a tiny bit of multitasking at the same time. Did you mention your business model, how you guys earn?
I did not. So yeah, we make our money by charging games for the daily active users that we deliver because we make sure that everybody's already qualified. And then we also make money on live streaming. There's all sorts of basic live streaming monetization venues. If you know anything about live streaming, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Ads, super chats, tips, membership, subscriptions, all these various things that people do to transfer money to streamers or just watch ads. All of those things are pretty much the bread and butter of how we print money.
So that was just on the streaming element. That's through your streaming platform or a deal with other streaming platforms where you take a percentage off the top? Is there already the infrastructure for that?
Yep, it's a hybrid model. So we have our own infrastructure built into our application. We use RTMPS, which is the pretty standard streaming protocol to deliver the viewing experience to the viewers. And it's natively optimized for mobile. When the streamer stops playing, you get an ad. If the streamer turns on monetization, then you get ads as they watch or as people watch the stream. And we have partnership deals currently pending with some major platforms. There's some that we don't need to do partnership deals with, like YouTube. That's easy. They just have pretty solid open APIs so that we can integrate the streaming experience there. But yeah, mobile streaming has been broken, so we're fixing that, and that's going to be how we make most of our money. We may even get to the point where we don't charge game studios at all, because if my models are correct, or even remotely correct, within a few years, we get to the point where over 90% of our revenue comes from streaming. And at that point, the B2B stuff is just a drop in the bucket. So we may just be a lot more selective with the games that we partner with at that point rather than charge.
That sounds really cool. I was going to ask what exactly you're charging for the daily active users, but if it's going to be redundant in 2 years, I guess it's less important. But it's charging by...
We'll keep playing your game basically all month for $3.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. It wouldn't necessarily work with my model, but I can see how it worked with a lot of like gacha model games, right? Where the more you have them playing, the more they spend in game, and But yeah, it sounds like a really good model.
Yeah, and a lot of games are ad supported, so if that's your monetization avenue, then it doesn't really matter because you're going to be making more money on every user that we send you than we charge.
I also have one more question for Mark about Ascent Rivals. Just on the mechanics thing, because with our previous MVP, I had a similar thing of going into shoot mode and it didn't stop you being able to steer, but you went from like the point of view behind the racer to like their point of view. And it was a tiny bit disorientating and definitely made steering harder. Is that something you like, or in a perfect world would you like the ability to
It depends,
continue?
right? If you're riding a bike and you've got a pistol, you can ride a bike with one hand. You can shoot with a pistol. But imagine if you're holding a rifle or like a shotgun, you're not going to, you're right, you're going to want to let go of your handlebars to hold with two hands.
So the actual pods don't have guns. It's like you have to get up and ride on the roof.
No, you pick up your rifle and you shoot from your rifle. You either have a proto rifle or a Lars cannon. The Lars cannon is basically like a giant railgun. Now, there's other things that the Lars cannon does too. The beam, it's like a giant railgun laser beam. The beam of light that comes out of it is blinding. So
yeah, I think I saw in some clips on the.
Yeah.
On the
so the other cool thing about that Lars cannon, if you have a tight choke point in a race and you get a couple people that are just shooting these Lars cannons, you can't see shit on the track and you crash. There's so many different ways to play the game. It's crazy.
And what happens if you just straight up drive into someone else, or you guys both drive into each other? Like, that's
a boost kill. You can actually boost through somebody and kill them. Depending on what your HP is compared to theirs, you can boost through somebody and kill them.
What about?
It's very similar to a crash. It has the same cooldown as if you crash into something. The shots are the ones that take a long time to recover from.
Interesting.
You know what this kind of reminds me of is the old Sega game Road Rash. Did you guys ever play that game? That dates me. Oh my gosh.
I haven't played the game, but our game is quite similar to that, but with the addition of guns, basically.
Yeah. So basically you're on this bike and you're just racing around, and you got cops following you, and you can pull out billy clubs and beat the crap out of your competitors and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, I remember playing that game for hours and hours when I was a young pup. But yeah, it was a fun game. I definitely want to try Bad Bikers if it's pretty similar to that.
Yeah, I actually found a good post that I'm going to share to the Jumbotron here. Should be going up top there. That was how they changed the map for Friday night playtest for Halloween. Gives just a little teaser of what the map looked like.
It looks cool, and you can literally turn around and shoot behind you once you're standing on the roof.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. Quick question. It's a bit off topic, but I've only really been active in crypto Twitter for about 2 weeks. How do you share something to the Jumbotron? That's different to the actual thread of the post of the...
That's an ancient Chinese secret. If I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Come on, man. Kill me in Ascent Rivals and give me the secret.
No, if you go to one of your posts or something like that on your timeline, and you click on the little... It looks like a...
Microphone.
No, it's on the bottom right of a post. It's got like a little arrow pointing up. That's the share button. If you click on that, and then at the top of the list, it'll say share to space. That'll put it up on the Jumbotron.
I just tried to. I'm not seeing it in the Jumbotron.
Takes a minute. It's there now.
Okay.
A glitch in the Web3 matrix?
Yeah, okay, cool. You learn something every day. You learn a lot in this space.
Yeah.
So, matey, WAGNY's pissed off. Protein shake and push-ups. I had another question for him about roommate.
So I got a quick question. I know WAGNY uses a lot of tangible kind of products that people can get their hands on. Just looking at your game here, Mark, I'm noticing that you guys have like merch as well. How does that really resonate? How does that really resonate within your community? Is it a good marketing tactic, or is it?
It's so much that. Here's a little alpha behind it. The founders of the game, Michael and David Yagi, David has his own merch company called Crypto Chips. And he makes all the merch for his company. And he also makes the merch for Ascent Rivals. So having a brother who has his own merch store definitely gives you a little bit of an edge on this. As far as the community, like all of the core people in the community, like the good racers and stuff, most of us have custom jerseys and custom hoodies from winning tournaments and getting them as prizes. Or like myself, I'm an ambassador for them. I have my own custom hoodie with my name, King Stooch, on the back and a little hidden message under the flap in the front where the belly is. If I flip it upside down, it says Legend of the Round Table, which is my space that I do. There's a lot of like cool things. They have their own, he makes his own stickers. He also has custom crypto chip gold coins, crypto coins that he has made for Genuine Games, which is the studio behind Ascent Rivals. Yeah, there's so much stuff that he can do having a brother who has his own merch store.
Yeah.
And the community absolutely loves it. And being able to go to like events like DreamHack and PAX West and all these events and have merch that you can send to people, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, talking with a lot of different games and stuff like that, they're always trying to figure out, how do I migrate from mobile Web 2 over to Web 3? How do I take Web 3 and merge it with the real world kind of thing through tokenization of real world assets kind of thing? Can those go into the game? And so I was just curious if that's a good play for games to basically implement into their ecosystem. I've seen it on a couple of games and a couple of different protocols, but I was just curious if it was just more of a placeholder or just a bolt-on kind of experience type of thing, just to give people something to do, or if it really does have some sort of rhyme and reason behind it. So,
Gotcha. Yeah, there's definitely, yeah. Go on.
Cool. What's the name of that brothers shop?
CryptoChips.com.
CryptoChips.com. Awesome. Do they do, very side tangent, but do they do kind of print on demand kind of stuff, or is it more bulk order? Do you know?
That you'd want to reach out to David. I know he can do a lot of custom stuff. I know, I want to say typical stuff, he can get turned around in 2 days even.
Okay.
And like custom stickers and stuff, I will tell you this, I've been to tons and tons of events. If you saw my wall behind me, I've probably got close to 100 stickers on the wall from events that I've gone to. The stickers that he makes are hands down above quality, way higher than any other stickers I've seen at these events. Like they don't like they're good quality stickers, vinyl stickers.
Awesome.
And one of the new things that actually, I'll toot my own horn for this one. I talked to him about, we go to these events and everything, and people have these QR codes for their game, and then people have stickers. Why not have stickers with the QR code on the back that gets peeled off? That leads to your Discord or whatever. And he made a bunch of the Ascent Rivals ones with the Ascent Rival Discord QR code on the back of the sticker, and it's just a freaking genius idea. Because people take these stickers home with them when they go to an event. Now, when they go to use them, when they go to peel off the paper on the back, they look at the paper, they see a QR code, they're going to scan it.
Yeah, that totally reminds me of, what was it, Crypto.com Super Bowl ad a couple of years ago, 2 years ago or something. Did you see that?
I did not.
All it was just a black screen with a QR code on it.
Oh, look at the people who have the QR codes on their hats now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, a few times I've been to crypto conferences in Dubai, and booths are a shitload, and you can't, like, speak to everyone all the time, and you have to stay by your booth and whatever. I just wore a t-shirt and got a QR code on the back. I haven't done that. That was just a plan. Sorry, that's a daydream. I didn't actually have anything to link the QR code to until 2 weeks ago. But 100%, like, there's not that much point in having a booth when you can't work the room, especially when you're bootstrapped and you don't have the funds to have a big team there, etc. Just work the room in your t-shirt with your QR code, or your hat with your QR code, a bit of art on it. Yeah, it's way more cost effective.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I've done that a couple of times, that's for sure.
Yeah, and people think straight away you have a bias for being a kind of savvy project, not picking up a booth and getting stuck in the corner or whatever it is. Yeah. QR codes are the way.
Well, cool, guys. I think I'm going to kill it. I didn't realize that it was 12 after, so I apologize. But yeah, thanks again for everybody for kind of tuning in. We'll do another pitch next week. I think next week we're doing meme coins. So if you know any meme coins meme coin projects that want to pitch, send them my way. I'm happy to get them up on stage so that they can show their project. And, I know Crypto Psycho has quite a few he's involved with. So, but yeah, appreciate you guys. Thanks for sharing the love, and definitely we'll see you around on some spaces. So
Appreciate it, man. Great space. And check out Terrence McKenna. Hopefully you like his voice and you find that he's a very entertaining guy to listen to.
I did. I put, if Terrence McKenna was to ask bad bikers a question about their game, what would he ask? So that's what I put in the comments. Have fun with that response.
Thanks for hosting.
Is it really a game? Is it really a game, or is it real life? Are we in a simulation? I don't know. Something along that kind of line.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, thanks for a great space, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Yeah, thanks for coming. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.
Later, all.
Happy birthday, Steve.
Thank you.